So quite a bit has happened since our run out in Dell, where we had the steering issue. Found out that there really wasn't an issue, kind of a weird thing that the steering wheel canted, but honestly it drives fine. We put the steering wheel back on straight and drove it you know, another couple miles and had no issues. So we've got her torn down a little bit right now, doing some race prep, touching some things up. One of the things that we've done is we took the brake rotors off here on the front. They were pretty worn, pretty close to toast and done. So but I am having a problem finding replacements. So they're 14 inches and they're Coleman 8 on 9 1/4, and they're an inch and a half or inch and a quarter wide. And CarTech doesn't carry them in stock anymore, so they're going to see if they can have some custom made by Coleman, because Coleman doesn't even have them on their website. So yay for trying to find brake rotors for this machine. Today Spencer's coming over and we are going to be pulling off all of the coilovers. I'd like to send it off to KDM. I've been in contact with Keith, but given how far away he is, it's just not going to be possible for me to get these down to him, the coilovers down to him before the race in April. So I've got a local shop that said that they would go ahead and take care of it, and I do have some seals that that came with the truck. So some other stuff that we've been working on here, interior wise, cleaning that up. It got a little bit dirty because I've got some trans and potential motor work. I do have some issues back here, so I was doing some welding yesterday. So listen, I haven't welded anything in over 13 years, so I am a bit rusty and trying to dial in my machine. I've got a little test thing here though, so you can see you know, first one blowing through it, second one not enough laying down. You know, this one ended up, these two were somewhat decent for a guy who hasn't welded in 13 years. And those were my, what was that, 5th and 6th welds that were, I don't know, 1.5 inches long. So got to get that figured out. But we've got some stuff going on back here. I'm gonna plate this area. This is holds our intake for the motor, and it's pulling up all of this here as the truck is shaking. So we got to clean that up a little bit. We've got some you can't see it from here, but separation here on the back of the cab is no longer connected back there with those tack welds, so I'm gonna have to re-weld that. Maybe put a little more bracing and a little more welding down in there, and then we're gonna cover up some of the holes that are here in the cab, especially in the front by the doors, because when we were going through the brush and everything and the dust, a lot of it comes in through right here, right? And then it just fills the cab with brush and leaves and sagebrush, you name it, and a ton of dust. So we're gonna block those up so that that's not a problem anymore. As far as other things, as I've gone around and checked the truck, the rear diff is leaking. I don't know if you can see that down there. So third member's coming out and we will RTV that. I did have the kids help the other day underneath the truck with spraying off the trans pan and also the oil pan. So gonna need a new trans pan, gasket, and filter and fluid, because I don't know the last time that was changed. And then I'm debating here. Obviously it looks like I could use a new rear main right here, which I have. So pulling the trans and then putting in a new rear main. And the other thing that I could do while I'm in there, because I was telling you guys that I've got problems with my oil pressure, right? It's constantly at 25 and it does not fluctuate with RPM. So inside the LS, there's what they call a barbell or a dog bone, whatever you want to refer to it. And it's actually going to be on this side, because what it does is when the oil comes through the pickup or when it comes back down, not necessarily through the pickup, but when it comes back down from the motor, there is a block right about here inside of the oil galley that forces the oil down here and up this tube through the filter, and then it comes back down through this tube and then shoots its way up through the block and through all the galleries there, or galleries there. So I think that dog bone or barbell is a little bit worn out and allowing oil to pass through or bypass the filter. And so I just have to take the rear cover of the motor off and I would be able to access that. But I'll probably call Maruzi first to see if they put in an aftermarket one or if it was the stock plastic unit. If it was the plastic unit, I'm guessing that's my issue. So I've got a lot of work to do before the race. I feel like I've kind of packed a lot on myself between everything I got going on right now, but we'll buckle down and we'll get it done. All right, guys, we'll show you some shots as we're working on this thing. What you doing, Brayton? You getting it all clean, buddy? Get a very few words, I guess. Not great. I gotta fill in some holes, and then I gotta put a plate in there. I bought some stuff to do some plating.
What are you talking about? Those look great.
Well, not here.
No,
and I've been filling that in.
You burnt through those.
But it's so damn thin, dude.
It's thin. Yeah.
It's very thin. All right, guys. Well, sorry I didn't film this, but I did get all the coilovers off each corner. It was the first one was a challenge, and then after that it was pretty easy to get around and take these things off. So you can see the other thing too, if we get close here, this has started to rust, which is unfortunate. And so on this other side, if we come around here, you can see I've done some work to this one to clean it up. I'm gonna have to figure out how to clean up down inside there, and I think I might drill a little hole down in there to keep the water from pooling up inside these trailing arms. But yeah, those look a lot better. All right, guys, here's the story. We are gonna make it to Prim. There we go. We got her all finished up, all put back together, ready to rumble out there in the desert and have a good time. I got the coilovers on. That was kind of a chore to get those back on. For some reason they feel a little bit bound up to get them on, but it's what it is. It's the way they came off. We'll put them back on the same way. I didn't get to service the diff like I wanted to, so we'll have to do that after the race before the next one out in Vernal, Utah. And then the other thing that we're going to have to do is I am going to have to pull that trans and replace the input shaft seal for sure. So we'll just top it off with trans fluid. Watch that all weekend. Make sure temps are okay. Other than that, seat belts up to date. Nets should be all good and secured. 6 inches all the way around, every 6 inches. Everything else has been checked out. Looks good. We're ready to rumble. So we'll get headed down the road, and we'll check back in once we get down to Prim.